welcome to another Book Time with Boo. I hope you've had a lovely week. This week is a story called The Old Man, which I wrote a few days ago. Let's just dive straight on in, shall we? The Old Man. The old man used to be a young man. He used to play frisbee. He used to take cars apart and put them back together. He used to go dancing until the wee hours of the morning. Now he doesn't do those things. His hips are creaky and his fingers are creased and his beard keeps dangling in his soup at tea time. The old man sits in an old deck chair by his open back door, looking out at his little garden. It was looking overgrown. The old man can't bend down like he used to pull the weeds out of the grass. Neither can he pick the berries on his bush before they go big and squashy and get eaten by birds. But this he doesn't mind so much. He enjoys watching the birds fly and peck at the juicy dark berries. In fact, he's got into the habit of giving them a special little whistle to let them know that the berries are ready. They look happy and often sing him a little song as a thank you. The old man sits and remembers sunny days running along the beach, splashing and jumping in the waves. He remembers nighttime bike rides along country roads, singing loudly and out of tune. He remembers daring attempts at picking apples from his neighbour's garden, the fear of getting caught pumping blood around his ears. He remembers the adventures. He's been sitting too long. Not just today, but for too many years. No adventures for quite some time. But then again, well, why not? Today is as good as any other day. Don't be silly, he says to himself. What adventure are you going to manage? You've got a dodgy back and a right knee that won't stop clicking. Where on earth would you even go? And so the old man lets his eyes droop in the afternoon sun, listening to the birds from the neighbouring gardens. Suddenly, his eyes spring open. Where on earth would he go? Maybe nowhere on earth at all. He thinks back to the exciting moment, staring at the fizzing television, watching two men leap as they take their first steps onto the cratered surface, jumping with no effort, floating and bouncing about as though they weighed nothing at all, on the moon, in space. Space. Now there's a thought. The old man clicks and clacks his way to a little potting shed to rummage amongst the old plant pots and garden tools. Now where did I put the... there it is. No, I won't be needing the gnome. Sorry, Brian. Ooh, now this could be handy. His arms full of the sorts of things that we all have in the back of the shed. They will come in use someday. The old man potters to the middle of his little garden and lays everything down. A big coil of washing line, always very useful. A pair of good thick gardening gloves, only a little bit worn out at the fingertips, and a punnet from when he went strawberry picking in 1972. And the glass fish tank that the old man used to keep his favourite goldfish, Titan Nick. For the next hour or so, the old man sets about making his invention, slowly tying and cutting and moving things about until finally he stands back to reveal his handiwork. Now, I know what you're thinking. That just looks like the old man's deck chair with some bits of washing line attached to it. But don't worry, this is just the start of the old man's plan. Stage 1, complete. He disappears into the house and comes back a little while later with a thermos of hot sweet tea, a cheese and pickle sandwich, and dressed in his adventure outfit. No, stop it. I know it just looks like he's wearing old muddy gardening gloves with a fish tank on his head and a bumpy woolly scarf knitted by an old friend 15 years ago, but it's all part of the plan, I promise. Stage 2, complete. He puts the thermos and the sandwiches in the little window washing bucket he's attached to the side of the deck chair and picks up the empty strawberry punnet. He hobbles over to the berry bush, creakily lowers the punnet to the floor underneath it and gives the bush a good old shake. Delicious, Juicy, oozing berries fall into the little punnet, filling it up to the brim. The old man takes a few moments to squeakily bend over, pick up the punnet, and then stand back up with a groan. Stage 3. Complete. He goes back over to the deck chair and settles himself into it, his lap full of berries. He gives a special little whistle. Birds come swooping from all around. Little brown speckled birds, big squawking seabirds, funny tiny dancing yellow birds, hundreds of them. They all know the special little whistle to listen out for when it was time for berries. With the birds settled all around him, happily munching, the old man lays out his plan. I wonder if you could do me a favour. I'm planning an adventure and I need your help. The birds listen carefully to his idea and then all chirp and cheep and squawk in agreement. Of course they will help their friend. As long as they can eat more berries afterwards, of course. Fair's fair. The old man claps his hands with glee and the birds take turns in swooping around the chair to pick up a piece of washing line in their beaks and claws. Soon the hundreds of birds are all holding the pieces of line, all of them attached to the deck chair. Okay, says the old man. Off we go. The birds all pull, and slowly the old deck chair begins to rise from the grass. It floats higher, up over the little garden, then up over the little village, then up over the little country roads, and then up over the vast sea. This is amazing, says the old man, whooping with joy and throwing his arms out wide. And the birds are pulling him up, through mist and clouds, and finally into the darkness of space itself. Soon the chair starts to float on its own, and the birds drop their pieces of washing line one by one. I'll see you on my way back. I'll whistle for you, he calls, waving as the birds dive back through the clouds. The old man straightens his fishbowl helmet, tightens his woolly scarf. Space is quite cold, you know. Holds on to the arms of his old deck chair with his big, thick gardening gloves and looks around at the sparkling blackness around him. He has never seen anything so magical. He ties one of the washing lines around his waist and gingerly pushes himself away from his chair. Oh, wonderful! What beautiful floating freedom! No clicking knees or creaking hips or any sort of groaning from his back. He spins and whirls, loops upside down and side to side, and pirouettes and leaps among the twinkling stars. How he had forgotten what it was like to be on an adventure again. He giggles like a little boy and pulls himself back over to his deck chair. He takes out one of his sandwiches and pushes it up under his fishbowl helmet to take a bite. He chews happily and sighs a big happy sigh. He sighs and chews and spins cheerily in his chair. Soon his chair spins all the way round so that he's facing back the way he came. He sees how beautiful the world looks, all blues and greens and swirls of white. He thinks back to his lovely sun-kissed garden. Maybe it's time to go home. But then again, maybe there's time for one more adventure first. He does have another cheese and pickle sandwich after all. So, who knows what his next adventure will be? Maybe you can have a think and see where you think he might go. Thank you so much again for listening. Please look at our other videos. We've got another amazing Crafts with Flossie coming out on Wednesday. You can find it through our Facebook or our YouTube channel. And you can also find all the previous craft videos and Book Time with Boo videos on there as well. Join us again next week. And in the meantime, look after yourselves. Bye.